Germany has committed millions of dollars in extra funding to help ensure all Holocaust survivors are able to get vaccinated against COVID-19. By virtue of their ages alone, survivors are at a higher risk of dying of COVID. While many of the 340,000 living survivors around the world have been vaccinated, thousands are still waiting for their shots after encountering difficulties with transportation to vaccination centers, the logistics of organizing an appointment, or other relatable problems. After the New York-based conference on Jewish material claims against Germany, the country agreed to provide an additional $13.5 million that will be used to overcome these hurdles. Now let's say hello to Ambassador Colette Avital, Secretary General of that claims conference. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yes, good day to you.
Colette, what exactly is this conference about, and in what capacity are you involved with it?
Okay, the conference was created 72 years ago in 1952 when there were negotiations between both Israel and the Jewish world with the German government for reparations for whatever the survivors suffered during the war. With the government of Israel, there was an agreement signed, and the Israeli government decided not to reopen that agreement. However, the Jewish world created at that time the Claims Conference, and the Claims Conference is an international Jewish organization which has many affiliates, which is really serving Holocaust survivors around the world. There are about today still among us 400,000 Holocaust survivors. Half of them live in Israel. And so every year there are negotiations which are led by a negotiating committee headed by Ambassador Stuart Eisenstadt with the German government. And the German government continues to help fund programs which help the survivors, such as home care or pensions, etc.
So
This is what the Claims Conference is doing.
Sure. So why exactly did Germany decide to contribute this sum of money specifically to vaccinate survivors? What is the thought process behind that?
First of all, it was not a German initiative. It was the initiative of the Claims Conference, which really is very much attuned to the needs of the Holocaust survivors around the world. In Israel, we didn't need that help because the government provided all the help necessary. But today there is a program which allows the Claims Conference to take into the places where people can get vaccinated, people who cannot leave their homes. So we provide staff and ambulances in order to be able to help them. This is a small number, I think about 17,000 Holocaust survivors, and this is what the fund is being used for. But this fund, which was requested by the Claims Conference from the German government as an emergency fund, was really is about to be spent by the various agencies around the world. The Claims Conference works in 45 countries around the world to be able to help those who cannot get the vaccines. We are not paying for the vaccines. We are not paying for the staff that administers, but we are paying for ambulances that takes them, staff that helps them get there, staff that usually makes the appointments for them, and so on. And since we're talking about 45 countries, this is a sum which I think is going to be spent the right way, and I hope it will be sufficient.
All right, Colette, thank you so much. Go ahead.
Sure. I would say that really the places where this is really necessary are countries like Russia, the Ukraine, and so on, mainly countries in Eastern Europe.
All right, Colette, thank you very much for your time, and best of luck with this initiative.
Thank you so much.